Y'all about to see what happens when you play with a real one. I built her. Now I'ma destroy everything. These words echoed through an Instagram live stream on December 15th, 2024, as 28-year-old Zaire Washington gripped his steering wheel with one hand and his phone with the other. The camera shook violently as his BMW sped through Charleston's narrow streets. In the passenger seat, barely visible but unmistakable, lay a black handgun. Just minutes earlier, across town, beauty influencer Amara Thompson had posted what would become her final Instagram story, her hands trembling as she typed, "If something happens to me, y'all know who did it, #Zigo, #help." The story disappeared after 24 hours, but screenshots had already spread like wildfire across Charleston's social media. Within the hour, an innocent father of 2 would be dead. A woman would fight for her life, and the city would witness how love turned lethal. This is Zaire Washington, the man behind Crown Records, the producer who discovered Charleston's hottest underground artists. Here he is just 6 months ago, accepting a community award for youth mentorship. And this is Amara Thompson, known to her 150,000 followers as Belle, the single mother who built a cosmetics empire from her kitchen table. They looked perfect together. Their joint Instagram posts pulled in millions of views. 2 black entrepreneurs living their dreams in the holy city. But on December 15th, 2024, Zaire posted something different. When you build someone from nothing and they try to destroy you, what would you do? Amara's mother saw the post. She'd watched this relationship change her daughter. She'd seen the warning signs others missed. Her comment appeared within minutes. "Charleston, my daughter Amara Thompson is in real danger. Zaire Washington has threatened to kill her and my grandchildren. If anything happens to my baby, you know exactly who did it." The community watched this unfold in real time. Some dismissed it as relationship drama. Others recognized something darker. One follower commented, "Belle girl, pack up them kids and run." Another wrote, "Z been acting crazy lately. Somebody check on Belle." But social media moves fast. Posts get buried. Warnings get ignored, and by the time Charleston woke up that Saturday morning, it was already too late. Tonight, we'll show you how a love story became a crime scene, how social media posts became evidence, how 2 people building dreams together ended up destroying lives. This isn't just another breakup gone wrong. This is what happens when digital fame meets deadly obsession. Welcome to Crime Next Door. I'm your host. And what you're about to see will change how you look at the perfect couples filling your timeline. Because sometimes, the most dangerous person in your life is the one holding the camera. If you're new here, subscribe now. Hit that notification bell. Because the story we're telling tonight could save someone's life. And if you recognize the warning signs we're about to show you, don't wait. Don't hope it gets better. Don't think love will fix it. The evidence is all here. The Instagram lives. The deleted posts, the 911 calls, the dashcam footage. Every piece of this tragedy was documented, shared, and saved. Yet somehow, no one could stop what was coming. So let me ask you this. When someone shows you who they really are online, why don't we believe them? Zaire Washington wasn't born into money. North Charleston's Liberty Hill housing projects taught him early that talent meant nothing without hustle. At 16, he was selling beats from his grandmother's back bedroom. By 21, he'd saved enough to rent a real studio space downtown. Crown Records started with a dream and a borrowed microphone. Local artists knew Zaire had the golden ear. He could take a kid from the streets and turn their pain into platinum. His first major hit came with rapper Lil Moultrie, whose track Charleston Nights went viral on TikTok. Suddenly, everyone wanted to work with the young producer who understood their sound. Meanwhile, across town in West Ashley, Amara Thompson was building her own empire. Single mother at 19, working double shifts at Walmart while her baby slept. She started mixing makeup in her kitchen because she couldn't afford the brands she saw on Instagram. Her first tutorial got 12 views. Her mother was 11 of them. But Amara had something special. When she talked to the camera, women listened. She wasn't selling perfection. She was selling possibility. "If a girl from the projects can glow up, so can you," became her catchphrase. Belle Cosmetics launched with 3 lip glosses and a prayer. The numbers started climbing. 50 followers became 500. 500 became 5,000. Local news picked up her story. The single mom who turned makeup into money. Charleston's beauty bloggers started taking notice. Then came the music video shoot that changed everything. March 2023. Lil Moultrie needed a makeup artist for his latest video. Someone mentioned Belle. Amara showed up with her kit and her confidence. Zaire watched her work from behind the camera. The way she transformed faces. The way she commanded respect in a room full of men. "Yo, you the Belle everybody talking about?" he asked during a break. "Depends who's asking," she replied, not looking up from her brushes. That night, Zaire followed her on Instagram. She followed back. The DMs started innocent enough. Professional collaboration talk. Then late-night conversations. Then something more. Their first official post together came 6 weeks later. Zaire in his studio. Amara doing her makeup routine in the background. "When your girl supports your grind," he captioned it. The post exploded. 30,000 likes. Hundreds of comments calling them couple goals. Charleston had found its power couple. What happened next changed both their lives forever. Zaire suggested they combine their brands. Crown Records and Belle Cosmetics under one umbrella. Joint marketing. Shared resources. Double the reach. "Think about it, babe," he told her during one of their Instagram lives. "Your followers love music. My artists need that female demographic. We could own this city." The numbers didn't lie. Their collaboration posts consistently hit 6 figures in engagement. Brands started reaching out. Real money started flowing in. They moved in together within 3 months. Amara's children, 8-year-old Destiny and 10-year-old Cairo, adjusted to having Zaire around. He bought them gaming systems, took them to Hornets games, played the role of stepfather perfectly for the cameras. Local radio station Hot 103.5 invited them on as regular guests. Charleston's couple, they called them. Every Friday morning, Zaire and Amara would talk relationships, business, and black excellence. The show's ratings jumped 20% during their segments. But success brings pressure, and pressure reveals cracks. Amara started noticing small things first. Zaire checking her phone when she left it unattended. Questions about her male followers. Suggestions about which posts she should and shouldn't make. "Babe, maybe don't post so many thirst traps," he said one evening. "You got a brand to protect now. We got a brand to protect." She brushed it off. Successful relationships required compromise, right? The money kept flowing. Belle Cosmetics expanded into skincare. Crown Records signed 3 new artists. Their joint Instagram account hit 200,000 followers. Magazine features. Podcast interviews. Charleston City Council even proclaimed it Zaire and Amara Day after their community charity drive. Yet friends started seeing changes in Amara. The spontaneous posts stopped. Every caption seemed calculated. Her natural personality, the thing that made Belle so relatable, started feeling forced. "Girl, you good?" her best friend Kelani asked during a Rare Girls night out. "You seem different lately." "Different how?" Amara deflected. "Like you're performing even when the cameras ain't rolling." Amara laughed it off, but the seed was planted. Was she still building her own empire? Or had she become part of his? The answer would come sooner than anyone expected. Because while Charleston celebrated their success story, Zaire was already planning something that would destroy everything they'd built together. And Amara had no idea what was coming. The first red flag appeared in October 2023. Amara posted a makeup tutorial featuring a bold red lip look. Within minutes, Zaire commented publicly, "Baby, why you advertising yourself like that? You know what type of DMs this gonna bring." Her followers noticed immediately. "Why your man policing your posts?" one commented. "Belle, you grown. Do what you want," wrote another. Amara deleted both comments within the hour. The pattern started small. A comment here, a suggestion there. But screenshots tell the real story. Every post Amara made, Zaire had something to say. When she promoted a new lip gloss shade, he wrote, "Make sure y'all know she's taken though." When she shared a motivational quote about independence, his response came fast. Independence is good, but partnership is better. Right, babe? Her longtime followers started keeping receipts. Screenshots of deleted comments. Screenshots of posts that disappeared entirely. The Belle they knew was fading, replaced by someone more careful, more controlled. November brought bigger changes. Zaire announced he was taking over as co-manager of Belle Cosmetics. Amara's creative, but business needs structure, he explained during their radio interview. I'm here to protect her brand and maximize her potential. What he didn't mention was the new rule. No content went live without his approval. Amara's posting schedule, once organic and spontaneous, became rigid. 3 posts per day. Specific hashtags. Specific messaging. The woman who built her following on authenticity now sounded like a corporate spokesperson. Her friend Kelani noticed the change immediately. Belle used to post random stuff. Late-night thoughts, funny moments with her kids, real life. Now everything looks like an ad. The numbers showed it too. Engagement rates dropped 15%. Comment sections filled with questions. Where's the real Belle? Became a common refrain. But the most telling change was visual. Scroll through Amara's content from early 2023, and you see a confident woman speaking directly to her audience. By December 2023, Zaire appeared in nearly every frame, standing behind her during tutorials, his reflection in her mirror during selfies, his voice commenting off camera during her videos. Y'all notice Zaire in every single post now. One follower observed. Even her makeup videos got him hovering. The comments kept coming. Belle, blink twice if you need help. Zaire, let the woman breathe. This ain't couple goals, this is control. Each criticism hit Zaire harder than the last. His own Instagram posts became defensive. Y'all mad because your man don't support you like I support mine. That's the difference between boys and men. Then came the business changes that nobody saw coming. December 2023. Amara logged into her Belle Cosmetics business account to find something shocking. $30,000 had been transferred to Crown Records without her authorization. Her signature was on the transfer documents, but she had no memory of signing them. Babe, we talked about this, Zaire explained when she confronted him. Joint investment. Your beauty brand helps fund my artists. My music connections help promote your products. It's synergy. But Amara never agreed to any joint investment. The contract language was complex, full of terms she didn't understand. When had she signed this? When had her successful independent business become part of his empire? She called her lawyer the next morning. What she discovered changed everything. Over 6 months, Zaire had systematically gained access to her business accounts. As co-manager, he'd authorized multiple transfers, contract modifications, and partnership deals. All technically legal because of documents bearing her signature. Documents she was beginning to realize she'd signed without reading carefully. Ms. Thompson, her lawyer explained, you've essentially given him controlling interest in Belle Cosmetics. He can make financial decisions without your direct approval. The woman who built a business empire from nothing had unknowingly signed it away. But that wasn't the worst part. The lawyer discovered something else in the paperwork. A life insurance policy on Amara, naming Zaire as the primary beneficiary. $250,000. Policy effective date, 3 months ago. Amara stared at the documents. When had she agreed to this? The signature looked like hers, but the memory wasn't there. Ms. Thompson, do you remember signing this life insurance application? She didn't. That night, Amara went through every document she'd signed over the past year. Business partnerships, bank account changes, insurance policies, legal agreements. Page after page of her signature on contracts she barely remembered reading. Zaire had been patient, methodical, professional. While she focused on content creation, he quietly restructured her entire financial life. The woman who preached independence to her followers had become completely dependent on a man who now controlled everything she'd built. And she was just beginning to understand how deep this went. Because hidden in those same business files was something that would explain everything. Something that would reveal Zaire's real plan for Belle Cosmetics, for Amara, and for her children. Something that would make her realize she wasn't his partner. She was his investment. And investments Zaire had learned, were only valuable until you needed to cash them out. The truth hit Amara like a freight train on December 3rd, 2024. She was reviewing Bell Cosmetics' quarterly reports when the numbers stopped making sense. Revenue was up 30%, but her business account showed a balance of just $4,000. Where had the money gone? The bank statements told the story. Transfer after transfer to Crown Records. $50,000 in September, $30,000 in October, $25,000 in November. Her successful beauty brand had been funding Zaire's music empire for months. But Crown Records wasn't thriving. It was dying. Deeper investigation revealed the ugly truth. Zaire had lost 3 major artists to competing labels. 2 upcoming album releases had been canceled. Studio rent was 3 months behind. The Golden Boy producer who discovered Charleston's next big stars was drowning in debt, and he'd been using her money to stay afloat. The betrayal cut deeper when Amara discovered how he'd hidden it. Every transfer was labeled as marketing expenses or cross-promotional investments. On paper, it looked legitimate. In reality, he'd been stealing from her children's future to save his failing business. But the financial theft was just the beginning. That same week, a DM appeared in Amar's business inbox from a young woman named Tiana. "Hey, Belle, I need to tell you something about your man. Check your followers list for my name and look at what he's been sending me." Amara's blood went cold. She found Tiana's profile among her 150,000 followers. 18 years old. Beautiful. Local. Aspiring model. The screenshots Tiana shared made Amara's stomach turn. "Yo, beautiful, I see you following my girl Belle. You got that look I'm searching for. Ever thought about getting into music videos? I'm Zaire from Crown Records. I could make you the next big thing in Charleston." Belle started with nothing too. "You should come to my studio. I got some projects that need the right type of woman. Someone who understands a vision. This stays between us for now. Belle don't need to know about business opportunities until they're solid." Tiana wasn't the only one. Amara spent the next 3 hours going through her follower list, reaching out to young women who fit a pattern. 18 to 22 years old. Aspiring models or artists. Local to Charleston. The responses flooded in. Screenshot after screenshot of identical messages from Zaire. Promises of music video roles. Studio visits. Career opportunities. All with the same warning. Don't tell Belle. 23 women. 23 young followers who thought they were getting legitimate business opportunities from a successful producer. But what exactly was Zaire offering them in these private studio sessions? One woman, Madison, agreed to speak anonymously. "He told me Belle was just business, that their relationship was for social media. He said he was looking for his real queen, someone who understood the music industry." Another, Jasmine, revealed more disturbing details. "He showed me their house. Said Belle was moving out soon, and he needed someone to help him manage his artists. Someone younger, hungrier, more grateful." The pattern became clear. Zaire wasn't just cheating. He was systematically recruiting his replacement from Amara's own follower base, using her platform to find his next victim. But there was something else. Something the women mentioned that made Amara's hands shake as she read their messages. Zaire had been asking specific questions. About their families. About who would miss them if they disappeared for a while. About whether they had close relationships with their parents. The same questions he'd asked Amara 2 years ago when they first started dating. December 8th, Amara made her decision. She had to get out. But leaving wouldn't be simple. Zaire controlled her business accounts. He had access to her social media. He knew her daily routine, her children's school schedule, her mother's address. Worse, she was beginning to suspect he'd been tracking her movements. Her phone showed location, sharing with Zaire, that she didn't remember activating. Her car had a new navigation system he'd installed as a gift. Even her laptop had software she didn't recognize. The man who claimed to love her had turned her life into a surveillance operation. But Amara had built an empire once before from nothing. She could do it again. Working in secret, she opened new bank accounts at a different institution. She hired a lawyer Zaire didn't know about. She researched domestic violence resources and safe houses in neighboring counties. Most importantly, she started documenting everything. Screenshots of the financial transfers. Screenshots of his messages to her followers. Photos of the surveillance equipment. Voice recordings of his controlling behavior. If she was going to escape, she needed evidence. December 12th, Amara posted what would become her most important Instagram story. Taking a break from social media to focus on family. Sometimes you need to step back and reevaluate what really matters. Belle Cosmetics will continue operations, but I won't be posting regularly for a while. Thank you for understanding. The post seemed innocent enough, but her real followers understood the subtext. The Belle they knew never took breaks. She lived for connecting with her audience. Something was seriously wrong. Comments flooded in immediately. Belle, are you okay? We're here if you need us. Praying for you and the kids. But one comment stood out among the rest. From Zaire himself. Baby, why you posting without telling me? We talked about major announcements going through me first. For the first time in months, Amara responded publicly to his control. I don't need permission to speak to MY followers about MY life. She deleted the comment 30 seconds later, but screenshots had already been taken. The cracks in their perfect relationship were finally showing in public. That night, Zaire confronted her at home. The conversation started calm, but escalated quickly. Why are you trying to make me look bad online? He demanded. I'm not trying to make you look any way. I just need some space to think. Space. We're building something together. You can't just disappear when things get real. Things got real when you started stealing from my business. The room went silent. Zaire's expression changed. The mask of loving boyfriend slipped, revealing something colder underneath. Stealing? Baby, we're partners. What's yours is mine. What's mine is yours. That's how relationships work. Not when I didn't agree to it. You agreed when you moved in with me. You agreed when you took my help building your brand. You agreed when you let me manage your business. Amara realized in that moment how carefully he'd planned everything. Every step of their relationship had been designed to increase his control and her dependence. I want my money back, Zaire. And I want my business back. His laugh was cold. Empty. Good luck with that, babe. Check your contracts. Check your account access. Check who has legal authority to make decisions for Belle Cosmetics. You can't just take what I built. I didn't take anything. You gave it to me. Signed papers and everything. That's when Amara understood the real scope of his plan. This wasn't a relationship that went wrong. This was a systematic financial takeover, disguised as love. And she was just beginning to realize how far he'd go to keep what he'd stolen. Because the next morning, she would discover something that proved Zaire had been planning her exit from the very beginning. Something that would make her realize her life was in immediate danger. Something that would force her to make a choice. Stay and risk everything, or run and leave everything behind. The countdown to December 15th had begun. December 13th, 2024. Zaire's Instagram post appeared at 3:47 a.m. When you build someone from the ground up and they forget who made them. When you give everything and get betrayal in return. Some people don't deserve the blessings they receive. The post stayed up for exactly 2 hours before being deleted. But Charleston's social media was always watching. Screenshots circulated immediately. By sunrise, the digital war had begun. Zaire's next post came with a throwback photo of Amara from 2 years earlier, before Belle Cosmetics took off. Remember when you had nothing? Remember who believed in you when nobody else did? Remember who taught you how to build a brand? Then another. Loyalty is everything. When people show you their true colors, believe them the first time. And another. Some women use men as stepping stones. Build them up just to tear them down when they're done climbing. His followers started picking sides. Zaire deserves better. Belle used him, and now she's throwing him away. I always thought she was fake. But Amara's supporters fought back. Belle built that business herself. Zaire trying to take credit for her work. Red flags everywhere. The comment sections became battlegrounds. Charleston's social media community split down the middle. Meanwhile, at Crown Records, something else was unraveling. Jamal Davis had been Zaire's business partner since the beginning. They'd built the label together, discovered artists together, shared the vision of putting Charleston on the hip-hop map. But Jamal had been noticing irregularities in their finances for months. Studio equipment purchased, but never delivered. Artist advance payments that didn't match the contracts. Mysterious transfers to accounts Jamal didn't recognize. When Zaire's public meltdown started, Jamal decided to investigate deeper. What he found made his blood boil. Crown Records was bankrupt. Their business account showed a balance of negative $43,000. The equipment was gone, sold to cover debts. 3 artists had left because their promised payments never came. And every missing dollar could be traced back to one source: Zaire's personal expenses. Studio rent money spent on designer clothes for Instagram posts. Artist payment funds used for expensive dinners with women who weren't Amara. Equipment money diverted to lease payments on his BMW. But the worst discovery was recent. Bell Cosmetics money, clearly labeled in the transfer records, being used to pay Crown Records debts without authorization from either business partner. Jamal had trusted his childhood friend. They'd grown up together in North Charleston, hustled together, built dreams together. Now he realized Zaire had been stealing from him for over a year. December 14th, 2:15 p.m. Jamal's Twitter thread went viral within hours. "I got something to say about my former business partner Zaire Washington, and y'all need to hear this. Crown Records is done. Not because we ain't got talent. Not because Charleston don't support. But because one person destroyed everything we built. Zaire been stealing from the label for months. Taking artist money for personal expenses. Taking equipment money for his lifestyle. Taking everything that wasn't his. And now I find out he'd been stealing from his girlfriend's business too. Bell Cosmetics money paying Crown Records debts that he created. To every artist who trusted us, I'm sorry. To every fan who supported us, I'm sorry. But I won't let my name be attached to this fraud no more. Zaire Washington is a thief. A liar. And Charleston deserves to know the truth." The thread exploded. 15,000 retweets in 3 hours. Local news picked it up. Charleston's music community started sharing their own stories about unpaid contracts and broken promises. Zaire's carefully constructed image crumbled in real time. But the nuclear bomb came from an unexpected source. Amara's mother, Octavia Thompson, had watched her daughter's relationship deteriorate for months. She'd seen the warning signs, tried to intervene quietly, hoped Amara would come to her senses. But when Jamal's thread revealed the financial theft, when she saw Zaire's manipulative social media posts, when she realized how deep the deception went, Octavia decided silence was no longer an option. Her Facebook post appeared at 8:30 p.m. "Charleston, my daughter Amara Thompson is in real danger. Zaire Washington is not who y'all think he is. This man has been controlling her for months, taking her money, threatening her family, following her everywhere she goes. I've been quiet because Amara asked me to be, but I can't be quiet no more. This man is dangerous. If anything happens to my daughter or my grandchildren, Zaire Washington is responsible. Screenshot this post. Share this post. Make sure everybody knows. Amara, baby, if you're reading this, come home. Bring them kids and come home. We'll figure the rest out together." The post reached 50,000 people in Charleston overnight. Local Facebook groups shared it. Community leaders reposted it. The warning spread like wildfire. But Zaire saw it too. His response came fast and furious. A live video on Instagram at 11 p.m., clearly recorded from his car outside Amara's apartment building. "Y'all really gonna believe lies from a bitter old woman who mad her daughter chose me over family? Y'all really gonna believe a jealous business partner who mad I'm more successful than him? I gave Amara everything. I made Bell Cosmetics what it is. I put Charleston on the map with Crown Records. And this is how they repay me. But watch this. Watch how fake people really are. Watch how quick they turn on you when you're vulnerable." The video showed him sitting in darkness, the apartment building visible in the background. He was watching Amara's home. At midnight, on a public live stream, Charleston's community groups lit up with alarm. He's stalking her. Somebody call the police. This is not normal behavior. But Zaire wasn't finished. December 15th, 6 a.m. Amara made her decision. She packed what she could carry, loaded her children in her car, and headed to her mother's house. But first, she had something to say. The Instagram Live started at 7:30 a.m. Amara sat in her car, kids in the back seat, belongings packed around her. "Charleston, this is Belle. I'm leaving the city today, taking my children somewhere safe, and I'm shutting down all business partnerships with Crown Records. For months, y'all have been asking what's wrong with me, why I've been different, why my content changed. Now you know. Zaire Washington has been controlling my life, stealing my money, and threatening my family. I tried to handle this privately, but private ain't working. Belle Cosmetics will continue, but from a new location with new management. I built this brand once. I can build it again. To every woman watching this who sees herself in my situation, you are not alone. You are not crazy. Trust your instincts. Get help. Get out." And to Zaire, you didn't build me. You don't own me. And you will never see me or my children again. The live stream ended abruptly. Within minutes, Zaire was frantically checking his access to their shared accounts. What he found sent him into a rage that would consume everything. The Belle Cosmetics business account, emptied, transferred to an account he couldn't access. Their joint savings, gone. Moved to Amara's personal account at a different bank. The house they shared, lease terminated, deposits withdrawn. Even their joint social media accounts, passwords changed, access revoked. While Charleston slept, Amara had systematically extracted herself from every financial connection to Zaire. The empire he thought he controlled was gone. At 10:47 a.m., Zaire's final Instagram post appeared. "Since y'all want to see me lose everything, watch what happens next. Y'all about to see what happens when you play with a real one. I built her, now I'ma destroy everything." The post included a photo, his gun, lying on the passenger seat of his BMW. 23 minutes later, he went live, and Charleston watched in horror as a love story became a tragedy that would claim 3 lives before noon. The countdown to destruction had reached 0. Amara thought she was safe at her mother's house. She was wrong. At 11:15 a.m., she realized she'd forgotten some of her children's clothes at the apartment. Against her mother's warnings, she decided to make one quick trip back. Just 10 minutes to grab what they needed. She had no idea Zaire had been watching the building all morning. Destiny and Cairo waited in the car while Amara ran upstairs. The apartment felt different now. Empty. Like a crime scene she was revisiting. She moved quickly, throwing clothes into a duffel bag. That's when she heard the key in the lock. Zaire had never returned his spare key. In all the planning, all the preparation for her escape, she'd forgotten that simple detail. "So this is how you do me." His voice was calm. Too calm. "Pack up my life like I'm nothing." Amara's hands froze on the bag zipper. "Zaire, the kids are downstairs. Please don't do this here." "The kids?" He stepped into the bedroom doorway. "You mean MY kids? The ones I've been taking care of for 2 years? The ones you're stealing from me?" "They're not your kids. You know that. I raised them. I fed them. I put clothes on their backs with money I helped you make." That's when Amara saw it. The gun tucked into his waistband, partially hidden by his hoodie. "Zaire, please. Let's talk about this somewhere else. Now we're talking here. Right now." He pulled the gun out, held it loosely at his side. "You really thought you could just take everything and disappear?" Downstairs in the parking lot, Destiny noticed something was wrong. "Mama been up there too long," she told her brother Cairo. The 10-year-old looked up at their third-floor window. "Maybe she's on the phone." "No, something's wrong. I can feel it." Inside the apartment, Zaire's voice was getting louder. 2 years I invested in you. 2 years I made you who you are. And this is how you repay me. You didn't make me anything. I built Belle Cosmetics myself. With whose connections? Whose studio? Whose marketing ideas? My own work. My own talent. Your own work. He laughed, raising the gun slightly. "Baby, you were nobody when I met you. A single mom working at Walmart, making lip gloss in your kitchen. And I was happy. I was free. Free? You were broke. You were struggling. You needed me. I needed help. I didn't need a prison. The gun came up higher, pointed directly at her chest. You ungrateful. After everything I gave you. That's when Amara heard something that made her heart stop. Footsteps on the stairs. Small footsteps. Destiny's voice echoed in the hallway. Mama? You okay up there? Stay downstairs. Amara screamed. Don't come up here. But it was too late. Destiny appeared in the doorway, Cairo right behind her. For a moment, nobody moved. Two children staring at a man pointing a gun at their mother. Uncle Z. Destiny's voice was small, confused. Why you got that? Zaire's hand shook. These kids had trusted him, called him family, looked up to him. Go back downstairs, he said quietly. This ain't about y'all. Please, Amara whispered. Let them leave. They don't need to see this. But Cairo, despite his fear, stepped forward. Don't hurt our mama. 10 years old, and he was ready to fight a grown man with a gun. I said go downstairs. The children didn't move. They flanked their mother, small hands reaching for her arms. That's when Amara saw her chance. While Zaire was distracted by the kids, she lunged for her phone on the dresser. 911. The call connected immediately. 911, what's your emergency? My ex-boyfriend has a gun, she whispered. He's threatening me and my children. Magnolia Gardens Apartments on Rivers Avenue, apartment 3B. Zaire heard every word. His face went cold. Hang up the phone. Ma'am, are you still there? Hang up the phone, Amara. Please send help. His name is Zaire Washington. He has a gun. That's when Zaire snapped. He grabbed Amara's arm, yanked the phone away, ended the call. You just ruined everything. His grip tightened. Police coming now. You know what that means. It means this stops here. No, it means we leaving. Right now. He dragged her toward the door, gun pressed against her ribs. Kids, stay here. Don't follow us. Don't call nobody. No, Destiny screamed. Don't take our mama. Cairo tried to grab Amara's other arm, but Zaire shoved him back. I said stay here. The last thing Amara saw was her children's terrified faces as Zaire forced her out the door. In the parking lot, he shoved her into his BMW. We going to the hospital. You fell down some stairs. That's the story. Zaire, this is insane. Just let me go. Can't do that, baby. You called the police on me. You made this bigger than it had to be. The drive to MUSC Hospital took 12 minutes. 12 minutes of Zaire rehearsing their story. 12 minutes of the gun pressed against Amara's leg. 12 minutes to pray her children would be safe. At the hospital emergency entrance, Zaire helped her out of the car like a concerned boyfriend. To anyone watching, he looked like a man helping his injured girlfriend. She fell down the stairs, he told the triage nurse. Hit her head pretty bad. Been acting confused. The medical staff moved quickly. Head injuries were serious. They needed to assess the damage immediately. But as they wheeled Amara into an examination room, she grabbed a nurse's hand. He didn't fall, she whispered. He has a gun. He forced me here. The nurse's eyes widened. She'd seen this before. Too many times. Where is he now? In the waiting room. Please don't let him know I told you. What's his name? Zaire Washington. And my children are alone at Magnolia Gardens Apartments. Someone needs to check on them. The nurse squeezed her hand. We'll handle this. Just stay calm. Within minutes, security was alerted. Police were called. The children's welfare check was prioritized. But in the waiting room, Zaire was getting agitated. Too much time had passed. Too many staff members were looking at him strangely. His phone buzzed with a police scanner app notification. Units responding to domestic violence call, Magnolia Gardens Apartments, Rivers Avenue. They'd found the children. They knew what happened. Zaire walked calmly to the bathroom, then slipped out a side exit to his car. By the time security reached the waiting room, he was gone. At 12:47 p.m., Charleston police arrived at Magnolia Gardens to find Destiny and Cairo huddled together in their apartment, traumatized but physically unharmed. Where's your mama? Officer Martinez asked gently. The bad man took her, Destiny whispered. Uncle Z turned into a bad man. He had a gun, Cairo added. He pointed it at Mama. The APB went out immediately. Zaire Washington, 28, armed and dangerous, kidnapping victim possibly at MUSC Hospital. But Zaire was already miles away, driving through Charleston's historic district with his phone mounted on the dashboard. At 1:15 p.m., he went live on Instagram for the final time. Charleston, y'all about to see what y'all created. She destroyed me. Now I'm destroying everything. The live stream showed him driving erratically down King Street, running red lights, weaving between cars. I gave her everything. Made her who she is. Built her whole career from nothing. Comments flooded the screen. Z, stop. Think about those kids. This ain't the way. Y'all want to see a man lose everything? Y'all want to watch somebody get destroyed by the person they love most. His speedometer showed 65 miles per hour in a 25 miles per hour zone. Pedestrians jumped out of the way. I should have never trusted her. Should have never opened my heart. Charleston police had units converging from every direction, but Zaire was driving unpredictably, taking side streets, cutting through parking lots. She took my money. She took my business. She took my family. She took everything. The chase wound through Charleston's narrow historic streets. Tourism buses pulled over. Horse-drawn carriages scattered. The city that Zaire and Amara had called home became the backdrop for his breakdown. But I ain't going out like no punk. Y'all gonna remember this day. Ahead, the intersection of Meeting Street and Calhoun Street appeared. Heavy traffic in all directions. Lunch hour in downtown Charleston. In a pickup truck turning left from Calhoun, 31-year-old Khalil Banks was heading home from his daughter's dance recital. She performed beautifully. He was already planning how to celebrate with ice cream. His two daughters, Zara and Amaya, were talking excitedly in the back seat about their next performance. Khalil smiled, listening to their chatter. He had no idea what was coming. Zaire's BMW approached the intersection at 85 miles per hour. The red light meant nothing to him now. The cross traffic meant nothing. The families in those cars meant nothing. This is what happens when you destroy a real man. The live stream captured everything. The speedometer climbing. The intersection growing larger. Zaire's hand steady on the wheel. No attempt to brake. The impact was devastating. Zaire's BMW slammed into the driver's side of Khalil's pickup truck at full speed. The truck flipped twice before coming to rest upside down against a tree. Khalil Banks died instantly. A father who'd spent the morning watching his daughter's dance, gone in a split second because of someone else's rage. But the crash wasn't over. Zaire's car, now spinning out of control, clipped two more vehicles before slamming into a concrete barrier. The live stream phone went flying, but it kept recording. Twisted metal, broken glass, steam rising from destroyed engines. Then, inside the wreckage of his BMW, Zaire pulled out his gun one final time. I'm sorry, Amara. I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry, Charleston. The gunshot echoed through the phone's microphone before the screen went black. Emergency responders found Zaire unconscious but alive. A self-inflicted gunshot wound to his abdomen. In the pickup truck, Khalil Banks was beyond help. Two families destroyed. A community traumatized. A city forced to confront how domestic violence ripples outward, claiming innocent victims who never saw it coming. All because a man couldn't accept that love doesn't mean ownership. And it was all broadcast live for the world to see. The paramedics worked on Zaire for 37 minutes. Chest compressions, emergency transfusions, desperate attempts to stabilize the massive blood loss from his self-inflicted gunshot wound. At 2:52 p.m., Zaire Washington was pronounced dead at MUSC Hospital, the same hospital where this nightmare began just hours earlier. In the pickup truck, there was nothing anyone could do. Khalil Banks, beloved father, devoted husband, youth basketball coach at his daughter's school, was gone. His crime was being at an intersection at the wrong moment. Khalil's wife, Simone, was at home preparing lunch when the call came. Two Charleston police officers at her door, their faces grave. The words every spouse fears. Ma'am, there's been an accident, luckily. His daughter had survived, but they would never see their father again. At the hospital, Amara learned she would survive. Minor cuts from broken glass. A bruised rib from where Zaire had grabbed her. But the physical wounds were nothing compared to what this had done to her mind. "Mrs. Thompson," the doctor explained, "your children are safe. They're with your mother. They're asking for you." For the first time in hours, Amara cried. Relief, guilt, trauma. Everything hit her at once. "The man who took you," the doctor continued gently, "he didn't make it." Amara's feelings were complicated. Relief that the threat was over. Sadness for the man she once loved before he became someone she feared. Guilt that her escape had somehow triggered this tragedy. But mostly, overwhelming grief for a stranger named Khalil Banks and his family. Charleston's community response was immediate and powerful. Within hours of the crash, GoFundMe accounts appeared for both families. Khalil's family for funeral expenses and supporting his daughters. Amara's family for counseling and security while they rebuilt their lives. The money poured in. $10,000 by evening. $50,000 by the next morning. Local businesses donated services. Churches organized meal trains. Charleston showed what community really meant. But the digital aftermath was more complex. Zaire's final Instagram Live had been viewed by 47,000 people in real time. Those viewers shared it. Screenshots spread. Video clips circulated. By midnight, bootleg copies had been viewed 2.3 million times across all platforms. The original video was taken down within 6 hours, but the damage was done. Charleston had witnessed a murder-suicide in real time, and the internet had preserved every second. The comment sections became digital crime scenes themselves. Some viewers blamed Amara for triggering Zaire's breakdown. Others called him a monster who deserved what he got. The ugliness of social media was on full display. But there was beauty too. Amara's Instagram, which she hadn't touched since her escape announcement, filled with messages of support. "Belle, you survived. You're stronger than you know. Your courage saved your children's lives. This is not your fault. This is what abusers do. Thank you for showing us the warning signs." The hashtag Justice for Khalil spread throughout Charleston's social media. Photos of Khalil coaching youth basketball. Videos of him volunteering at community events. Stories about his kindness, his generosity, his love for his daughters. Charleston refused to let Khalil Banks become a footnote in someone else's tragedy. They celebrated his life while mourning his senseless death. Crown Records died with its founder. Jamal Davis posted a final statement. "Crown Records is permanently closed. We will fulfill existing contracts, but will not be taking on new projects. Our thoughts are with all the victims of this tragedy." The recording studio was cleared out within a week. Equipment sold to pay outstanding debts. Dreams and ambitions packed into boxes and hauled away. 3 local artists who'd been signed to Crown Records found new labels within a month. Charleston's music community rallied around them, ensuring Zaire's actions didn't destroy their careers too. But beyond the immediate aftermath, this tragedy revealed something Charleston needed to confront. The warning signs had been everywhere, yet somehow the community had missed them. Or worse, had seen them and looked away. Financial abuse. That was the term domestic violence counselors used to describe what Zaire had done to Amara. Not just stealing money, but systematically gaining control over someone's financial independence. Social media had made it worse. Every aspect of their relationship was performed publicly. The controlling comments on her posts weren't red flags to most followers. They looked like a supportive boyfriend protecting his woman's image. The children suffered most. Destiny and Cairo had witnessed domestic violence, been threatened with a weapon, watched their mother get kidnapped. No 8-year-old and 10-year-old should carry those memories. Child psychologists worked with them immediately. Play therapy, art therapy, specialized counseling for children who'd experienced trauma. The road to healing would be long. Children who witness domestic violence often struggle with trust issues, anxiety, and relationships later in life, explained Dr. Marcus Williams, Charleston's leading child trauma specialist. But with proper support, they can heal. They can break the cycle. Amara started therapy too. Survivor's guilt, trust issues, the complex emotions of grieving someone who'd terrorized you, someone you'd once loved. I keep thinking about what I could have done differently, she told her counselor during their first session. If I'd left sooner, if I'd recognized the signs earlier, if I'd never started dating him at all. Abusers are experts at manipulation, her counselor replied. They don't start with violence. They start with love, with support, with making you feel special. By the time you see the control, you're already trapped. The Bell Cosmetics empire didn't die with the relationship. Amara rebuilt it slowly, carefully, with new safeguards, separate business accounts that only she controlled, legal contracts she read completely before signing, a support team that included people Zaire had never met. Within 6 months, Bell Cosmetics was stronger than ever. But Amara was different, more cautious, more aware. She used her platform to educate other women about financial abuse, digital stalking, the warning signs she'd missed. If your partner wants to control your social media, that's a red flag, she posted. If they want access to your business accounts, that's a red flag. If they isolate you from friends and family, that's a red flag. Her follower count grew to 300,000. Women shared their own stories in her comments. Stories of financial abuse. Stories of control. Stories of escape. Charleston's domestic violence resources expanded after the tragedy. New funding for financial abuse counseling. Digital safety training. Children's trauma programs. Khalil Banks' death had sparked changes that would protect future victims. But questions remained. Why hadn't the community acted sooner? When Amara's mother posted her warning, when Jamal exposed the financial theft, when the controlling behavior was documented in real time on social media, why didn't someone intervene? Today, Amara Thompson lives quietly with her children in a city far from Charleston. Bell Cosmetics operates successfully, but she rarely does public appearances. The woman who once lived her life on social media now values privacy above all else. Destiny and Cairo are in counseling, but they're healing. They're learning that what they witnessed wasn't normal, that love doesn't involve weapons, that their brave actions saved their mother's life. Khalil Banks' daughters, Zara and Amaya, are growing up without their father. But Charleston hasn't forgotten him. The youth basketball league he coached has been renamed in his honor. His memory lives on in every child he inspired. Crown Records' former studio space is now a domestic violence resource center. The place where Zaire once recorded music now hosts support groups for abuse survivors. Dreams of stardom replaced by dreams of safety. And Zaire Washington, his social media accounts were permanently deleted. His music was removed from streaming platforms. Charleston chose to remember the victims, not the perpetrator. But his story serves as a warning about the dangers of financial abuse, about the power of social media to mass control, about how domestic violence destroys more than just the relationship at its center. The takeaway is clear. Love doesn't control. Love doesn't steal. Love doesn't threaten. Love doesn't broadcast suicide and murder to the world. What Zaire felt wasn't love. It was ownership. And when you can't own someone, when you'd rather destroy everything than let them be free, that's not heartbreak. That's evil. And evil, once it starts, rarely stops with its original target. If you're planning to escape an abusive relationship, get help. Make a safety plan. Don't do it alone. Because as Amara Thompson learned, and as Khalil Banks' family knows, the consequences of domestic violence reach far beyond the couple at its center. Charleston will never forget December 15th, 2024, the day love turned lethal, the day the internet watched evil in real time, the day a community learned that silence in the face of abuse is complicity, the day everyone realized that domestic violence is everybody's business. If this story opened your eyes to the warning signs of financial abuse and digital control, please hit that like button. Your engagement helps us reach more people who need to hear these stories. Subscribe to Crime Next Door if you haven't already. We investigate the cases that others miss, the warning signs that get ignored, the patterns that could save lives if more people knew what to look for. Drop a comment below and let us know. Have you seen these warning signs in relationships around you? How can we better support victims of financial abuse? What would you have done if you'd witnessed Zaire's controlling behavior online? Share this video with someone who needs to see it. Share it in your community groups. Share it with friends who might not recognize these red flags. Sometimes one shared video can save a life. Check out our channel for more stories like this one. We cover cases where social media became evidence, where warning signs were missed, where communities could have intervened but didn't. And stick around for the end screen, where you'll find our most important cases. Stories about digital stalking, financial abuse, and the deadly consequences of controlling relationships. Because these stories aren't just entertainment. They're education. They're warnings. They're calls to action. Someone watching this video right now might be living a Mara story. Someone might recognize their own relationship in Zaire's controlling behavior. Someone might be planning their escape and need to know they're not alone. That's why we do this work. That's why your support matters. That's why every like, every subscription, every share makes a difference. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, if you see something, say something. Your voice could save a life.